So let's talk about a component that's literally in almost every electronic device you own, but it's often a total mystery: the inductor. I mean, on the surface, it's just a coil of wire, right? How complicated can that be? Well, as we're about to find out, that simple-looking coil has a fascinating hidden power to push back against the very flow of electricity.
All right, to kick things off, let's start with a little puzzle. We're going to look at a super simple circuit, and then we're going to add just this one thing, our coil of wire, and you're going to see how it creates this weird, almost lazy behavior in the circuit.
And wow, the difference is just so clear. Check out the left side. In a normal circuit, the current and voltage are in perfect sync. They move together in lockstep. But now look at the right. The moment we add the inductor, the current just can't keep up anymore. It doesn't snap to attention. It kind of slowly ramps up and then slowly ramps down, always lagging behind what the voltage is doing. And that, right there, that's our big question for today. What is going on inside that simple coil of wire that gives it this incredible ability to resist change, to push back against the flow of electricity itself? Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, let's actually step away from circuits entirely for a minute. We're going to build a really powerful analogy in our minds using something way more familiar: water, pipes, and a big, heavy water wheel. Let's walk through this. So first, just imagine water in a pipe. You push one end, the water flows to the other. Instantly. Makes sense. But now, let's drop a big, heavy water wheel right in the middle of that pipe. Now when you push, what happens? The wheel's sheer weight, its inertia, fights you. The water can't just start flowing instantly. It has to slowly get that heavy wheel spinning. And this right here is the key insight. The wheel doesn't resist the flow of water itself. I mean, once it's spinning and the water is moving steadily, it's perfectly happy. The resistance is only against a change in motion. It hates starting and it hates stopping. It doesn't like sudden moves. So the takeaway is this: that heavy wheel only really makes a fuss when you try to change things. If the water flow is just constant and steady, it's almost like the wheel isn't even there. But the second you try to speed up, slow down, or stop the flow, that's when the wheel pushes back with all its might. All right, so we've got this great mental picture of the water wheel, right? Now let's take that powerful idea and plug it straight back into our electrical circuit. This is where we solve our mystery. This is the aha moment. And here's where it all clicks. The flow of water in our pipe, well, that's just like the flow of electrical current. The force we use to push the piston, that's our voltage. And that physical, heavy, sluggish inertia of the water wheel, that is a perfect stand-in for the electrical property we call inductance. It's literally electrical inertia. But where does this electrical inertia actually come from in a real circuit? Well, whenever current flows through that coil, it generates a magnetic field around it. Building up that magnetic field takes energy, and that energy gets stored inside the field. It's this stored energy that gives the inductor its momentum. And you know what? This is why you've got to be careful with inductors. If you have current flowing and you suddenly flip a switch to cut it off, that stored magnetic energy has to go somewhere, and it goes somewhere fast. The field collapses, releasing all its energy at once, and it generates a massive voltage spike, often big enough to create a spark that jumps right across the switch. Okay, so the water wheel analogy is awesome for building intuition, but now let's get down to the brass tacks and uncover the exact physical rule that describes how every single inductor behaves. So when we actually run an experiment and look at the data, this super clear pattern just jumps out at you. Look at the flat parts. When the current is steady, not changing at all, the voltage across the inductor is zero. It's like it's not even there. But look at those steep sections where the current is changing really fast. Bam! The voltage spikes. That's the inductor fighting back. And this all boils down to the one fundamental rule of inductors. If you remember one thing, this is it. It's not about how much current is flowing. It's about how fast that current is changing. The faster the change, the bigger the voltage the inductor creates to oppose it. That relationship is everything. So we've been throwing this word inductance around a lot. Let's take a second to really pin it down. What is it really? And how do we actually put a number on this idea of electrical inertia? Well, inductance, which we usually write as a capital L, is just the official name we give to this property. Think of it as a number that tells you just how much an inductor is going to fight back. A bigger inductance means a bigger fight against any change in current. And we measure inductance in a unit called the Henry, named after the American scientist Joseph Henry. So what is 1 Henry? It's defined as the amount of inductance that will generate 1 volt of opposition when the current through it is changing at a rate of 1 ampere per second.
So what actually makes an inductor, more inductive? It all comes down to how it's built. Things like how many times you wrap the wire, what kind of material you wrap it around, is it just air or something like iron, even the physical size and shape of the coil. All of these things change how much it pushes back.
And this all brings us to a really cool final thought. I mean, we've spent this whole time talking about how inductors resist and fight change, which kind of sounds like a bad thing, doesn't it? But what if that resistance is exactly what you're looking for? Think about it. That ability to smooth out sudden spikes and drops in current is incredibly useful. It's used in everything from the power supplies in your computer to the filters in your radio. So that electrical inertia isn't a bug. It's one of the most powerful features in an engineer's entire toolkit.